what God has for you is so much bigger. Trust it. So I wanted to be a midwife. I went to college to major in nursing, but I knew that I didn't want to work in a hospital. So I ended up changing my major several times, and eventually I landed on communication studies, which has nothing to do with midwifery, right? So after I graduated from college, I still wanted to be a midwife. So I applied to the Utah College of Midwives, and I live in Ohio, but I wanted to be a midwife so bad that I was going to do a hybrid program and go to Utah a few times out of the year in order for me to study midwifery. So I applied to this school, and I feel like, look, midwifery is my life's destiny. Like, I'm supposed to be a midwife, right? And then they reject me. They were like, yeah, so you need more birth experience. And I'm thinking, like, how y'all gonna reject me? Like, this is literally my life's goal, is to be a midwife. Like, why do y'all think y'all can reject me? So because they rejected me and I had to go find some more birth experience, I ended up becoming a doula, which I never considered being a doula ever before. I saw what a doula was and what a doula did, but I was so hyper focused on being a midwife that just thought never entered my mind that being a doula was for me. So anyway, I did a doula training, and after the doula training, I remember telling my trainer, I was like, you know what? I was like, I'm going to go home and I'm going to build an agency where I could train women to be doulas and provide support to pregnant and postpartum mothers for free, like a nonprofit. And so, man, that's actually what God had in store for me, was that I went and started this organization, and it became wildly successful. Like, no kidding. I like raised $5 million in about 5 years. And it happened so quickly. It just blew up, right? So much so that, we were asked to start another one in a different city. And it just really, really took off. So as I was just sitting here getting ready this morning, I started thinking about all of the great things that God has done for me in my life, and how in this season I am in transition. What I mean is, I left that organization that I started about 3 years ago. And from there, I really been on this journey of self-discovery. I really been on this journey of trying to figure out what my, next move was going to be, because I really love mothers and babies. Like, I really do. But because I was working in nonprofit and I was specifically working on the issue of infant mortality, as I started to build this doula agency, I also started to realize that the reason that I thought infant mortality was happening, that it was not happening for that reason. And that caused me to go deeper and figure out, like, what was really causing infant mortality, because I love mothers and babies that much. I need to figure out what it is that's killing our babies and killing us as moms. And I didn't want to accept the regular sort of thought pattern of why this was happening, which everybody, in my field was saying that it was happening because of systemic racism and just all of this, right? And I used to present a lot about that too. Like, a lot of my presentations had to do with like systemic racism and the other issues that, Black Americans face in terms of, health disparities, education, like the whole gamut, which then led me to ask, why do Black people have the worst outcomes and everything? And once I started asking myself that question, it's like my whole world really transformed. And I appreciate God, you know, answering my question. It took me on this whole journey. And I did a series the other day on here called Why Do Black People Have the Worst Outcomes and Everything. So check that out as I really break down what I found over the last 3 years and my spiritual journey as to why Black Americans tend to have worse outcomes and everything. The short answer has to do with our self-image. And because I wanted to take an internal approach, not an external approach, I wanted to look at what are the factors that are in our control and what can we change, right? When we talk about systemic racism, we are talking about something that we personally cannot change on an individual basis. Now, could we change it on a collective basis? We could, but that requires individual change and transformation first, right? Because systems are made up of individual people. So in order for systems to change, the individual people must change. You can't make systemic change if everybody is hell bent on remaining the same, you know, because as Albert Einstein said, you can't solve a problem from the same level of thinking that created it. That makes sense. So if we created these problems from this level of thinking, we can't solve those problems with the same level of thinking. We have to go higher. And when I say higher, what I mean is we have to go deeper, right? And so I'm deep. I made a whole transition in my life. Like I threw away my entire life, my entire career, everything I worked for in order to get to this answer of why are we having all of these damn issues in the Black community. I had to figure out the answer. So go back and watch my 5-part series on why do Black people have the worst outcomes and everything. And comment and let me know. Do y'all understand what I mean by that? Back to God getting all of the glory. I just want to go out here and be a little midwife, right? And God was like, I got something bigger for you. I need you to go build this multi-million-dollar nonprofit agency. You go do that. And I did that. When my assignment was completed, God started speaking to me again and said, no, I need you to go focus on something else. I need you to go figure out what's at the root of this issue. And then I need you to come back and teach people. That's where I'm at. I'm at the part now where I have been ordained to teach people about why these issues are plaguing us as people, as Black people. So I also made this video for anybody who needed to stay encouraged, because what you have planned for yourself might be small. It might be small. And God wants you to know that the plans that He has for you are much bigger. So surrender and allow God to guide and step back and let everything fall into place, because I promise God has something so much bigger for you than you could imagine.